Okay, here we go. The Mavic 3 Pro. I would be making a fully edited video, but I mean, I'm just too swamped. So I thought I would live react to the launch with you guys. See here. Who is this man? And I might take this down if it's too much. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, DJI fans, pilots, photographers, filmmakers, hello image creators. We've all been waiting a long time for this moment.
Yeah, we have.
You know, patience always pays. It's a big part of our work, waiting for the odds, the weather, the right perspective, the right time.
Okay.
A special moment. Well, here we are. I'm Ferdinand Wolf, drone pilot and part of DJI's development team. But especially, I am an image creator. Over all my years with DJI, I've met so many other creators, tech friends and fans. I can truly imagine how excited you are right now. I am as well. And I'm also extra proud to represent this moment on behalf of my colleagues all over the world, because it marks a very special milestone for the whole DJI family.
Don't touch that dial.
So please allow me to do something we rarely do and share a word or two about our company. DJI was born from a simple dream, allowing you to effortlessly control an aircraft and create impressive images on the fly. And for 15 years now, we do exactly that, enabling image creators to capture easily what could only be imagined before. But while we're widely known as the drone company, only a few know what the letters DJ and I stand for. That's Dajang Innovation, short DJI. Innovations paired with Dajang, inspired by an old Chinese idiom, means to us, big dreams have no barriers.
Okay.
This is what drives us, the reason why we won't and why we don't just imagine. The reason why, as soon as we master one thing, we'll use that experience somewhere else. So we've already put our gimbal technology from aerial heights into the hands of pro filmmakers. Shout out to my friends in Hollywood. We give weekend action heroes the tools to become true image creators. We enable farmers, firefighters, builders, scientists, and many more to make the world a safer, smarter, and more promising place from above. Moreover, we've expanded far beyond where we began, making advancements in various fields such as autonomous driving, educational robotics, physics, and AI. We simply love searching for solutions that let you discover the space around us in an intelligent way. Products that feel like they're coming from the future, but help to improve the world today. Big dreams, I know. But we really don't like barriers. Not for us, not for anyone else. So we just keep making the most complex technology accessible and easy to use for everybody, every day. And today, this thought brings us back here. Back to our original dream, helping everyone to see the world in a smoother and better new way from above.
So for those that don't know, this drone was already leaked like a while ago. So I feel like he's building up to the Mavic Pro 3. Even though he's like talking about, we make images, and they've released like 3 cameras this week, so we'll see.
Claimed our earlier products, we wanted to surpass them. And when it comes to our flagship drone, surpassing what we've already done before required us to work harder than ever.
Ooh, here it comes.
Just a better drone wouldn't be enough this time. We had to put imaging above everything. Okay. Enough teasing. Let's take off. Introducing DJI's new masterpiece.
Here we go. Okay. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited mostly because like the Mavic 2 Pro, it shoots so well. It does have a lot of problems with it. The main issue being that the codec is kind of crazy, and like the colors right out of the box look great, but it is like it's its own thing. You can't really match too much to it. Ooh, but here we are.
Creators around the world, this one is for you. Please welcome our latest flagship, our pride. The drone that is here to change the way we shoot, the way
Hell
we
yeah.
see, the way we fly. Again, Mavic 3. Mavic Pro was a foldable revolution in 2016, fitting in a small bag but shooting big images on the go. I remember flying an early prototype. What a game changer. Mavic 2 Pro followed in 2018 as a glimpse into the future of professional imaging with a 1-inch sensor.
That Hassleblad
It was
sensor.
our first Hassleblad cooperation as well.
Yep.
Each Mavic Pro has been the ultimate choice of its time. This is true for Mavic 3 as well, but on a whole new level. This new Mavic belongs in the toolbox of every true image creator. And here are 3 bold reasons why. 1.
Because it costs
the dual camera
$5,000.
system. An incredible Hassleblad camera with a stunning 4/3 CMOS sensor. Plus, a second camera with a 1/2-inch sensor and a telescopic lens for exploring distant spots and new creative techniques. Endless possibilities and badass image quality. More about that later. 2.
So they combined the zoom and the
APAS
Pro.
5.0 comes with an omnidirectional obstacle sensing system, autonomously sensing obstacles in all directions, like a careful assistant that protects your footage. 3. Mavic 3 stays in the air for up to 46 minutes.
No, it
Giving you a
doesn't.
crazy 50% upgrade
No,
to
it
Mavic 2.
doesn't.
More fly time to get the next perfect shot.
40
We could have
minutes?
called it Patience Plus.
That's literally double the
Mavic
flight
3
time.
is here, ready to start a new era. The shift from a supreme
hell?
drone with a great camera to a supreme camera that flies perfectly.
It's
And I can't wait to show you this camera in action. So let's go. Follow me outside for a sneak peek at the peak.
the flight time is the biggest thing so far. What up, Enigma? How you doing, my friend?
Camera quality is absolutely outstanding. You get stunning images in almost any conditions. So there's no need to go to scenic places for epic shots. But if you can, of course you go.
Curious if they have like an ND filter or something, because usually you need to put them on yourself, but it says like any condition. I mean, how are you going to prepare for any condition with this drone? Looks pretty good. There we go. Seeing the dynamic range is the big thing. Like, that's lava. It's supposed to be like white hot, but if you can see like the orange in it, you're getting a better dynamic range. So, I'm gonna be completely honest, like, a lot of this looks like stuff I've already gotten with my Mavic 2 Pro. So, I really hope they have like some... See, when you get cameras that are this advanced,
Quite impressive, right?
you really need to get
when we
like the
say
footage
we
and
put
play with it
imaging
yourself.
above everything, we mean the best image quality you can get from an aircraft that fits in a small bag. We mean a truly professional camera system that you can use to capture any perspective. We mean an intuitive and safer user experience to fully focus on imaging. That's Mavic 3, finally here to change aerial imaging once again. But to achieve that, we had to change more or less everything. At first, the obvious.
Fair.
We know that to select the best shots, you need enough shots to select from. And to make as many attempts as possible, you simply need time. To get
Yep.
significantly more time in the air, we had to refine the entire structure of Mavic 3. First, we took inspiration from nature and aerial science to help us make propellers and motors more efficient. Then,
Nice.
we redesigned the gimbal, the arms, and the main body to improve how Mavic 3 moves through the air.
It looks the same.
The result? A drag coefficient 35% lower than the last generation.
What the
That's
hell?
why Mavic 3 looks sharper and more agile. It's not just the darker color, it was an enormous effort to redesign every millimeter of Mavic 3 to move more smoothly. And that's just what you can see from the outside. On the inside,
Enigma, I'll
it's
show you how
also
to fly a
strong.
drone.
Way strong.
Thanks for talking
By
chat.
balancing weight, volume, and power consumption, we got more room for the battery, leading up to 30 kilometers flight distance per charge. And a flight time of 46 minutes.
That doesn't...
That's
46
15 more minutes to
is...
explore, prepare, and shoot compared
It's almost
to Mavic
30
2.
more minutes. Yeah, like
And
legitimately.
huge.
That's...
Especially when you're used to testing the limits of our batteries like I am.
Yeah.
You'll love another improvement. You can now charge batteries inside the aircraft via
Oh.
USB-C, helping
Oh,
you to be ready
boy.
ASAP whenever a perfect shot opens up. Speaking of perfect
pretty good.
shots, have you ever lost a shot like this? An absolute nightmare. That's why we wanted Mavic 3 to be safer than any other professional drone, to protect your images, your raw materials, your work, whatever comes. So we got rid of all the blind spots with APAS 5.0, allowing Mavic 3 to see whatever comes in every direction. Up, down, sideways, front, back. Safe in
There's a drone called the Skydio that does
APAS
exactly this.
5.0 has
They're putting them out of
upgraded
business.
Omnidirectional obstacle sensing. Multiple visual sensors allow an extremely accurate recognition of obstacles in 360 degrees and let Mavic 3 automatically avoid them, even in normal
The Skydio beat
or in
them to
trekking
this, but I mean,
situations.
like,
There, the new ActiveTrack 5.0
for them to
allows
just
a more
do it
motion-based
is
and
eating
natural tracking in
Skydio's
3D.
lunch.
Even when the drone briefly loses track of the subject, it keeps following it until it finds it again. Imagine letting the drone handle the flying while you stay in your zone, focusing on what you
Literally
came
a
for in the
Skydio
first
feature.
place. And in case you stay in your zone for a little too long, no worries. Our newly designed advanced return to home function is backing you, returning the aircraft smarter and safer than ever. With traditional return to home, the aircraft first ascends, flies back in a straight line, hovers above, and finally lands at the takeoff point. If it spots an obstacle, the drone climbs to avoid it and then descends to resume to return to home. Hardly efficient. Advanced return to home, specifically designed for Mavic 3, will now take more intelligent and efficient flight routes with reduced power consumption, leaving more in the mountains. That's why we upgraded the transmission system to DJI O3 Plus. Stronger,
O3
way
Plus.
more reliable, enduring, powerful. And in combination with an additional DJI Cellular transmission dongle,
What?
unbeatable. With this, Mavic 3 can leave the point-to-point connection and enter the 4G cellular network. So now, with the relevant permissions and following your applicable laws and regulations, you can pretty much fly from anywhere to anywhere. On the whole, Mavic 3 provides a much better connectivity. It's now able to transmit footage from the aircraft directly onto your mobile phone through Wi-Fi 6 protocol without the need of a remote controller.
This is some Brave New World.
And when I say
as I bump
remote,
the mic.
I mean
This is
a
some Brave New World stuff.
next-generation
Like,
smart remote controller.
so
Available with the Mavic 3
cellularly,
is
you can
the new
control it from
DJI
anywhere,
RC Pro, the absolute latest and smoothest
and it sends
control
it straight to your phone.
with
I
extended
mean, like,
operating time,
already did that.
faster charging, enhanced antenna power, and transmission distance. Plus a 1000 nit screen built to give you the best and brightest display for your image.
That's
And
good.
that's exactly where I want to take you back now.
Here
to
we
the
go.
heart and soul of mighty Mavic 3, its imaging performance. For an imaging professional, you expect a camera that performs great in low-light situations, is able to handle high dynamic range, and captures the finest details even at the widest angles. And Mavic 3 delivers, thanks to an original Hassleblad camera with a 4/3 CMOS sensor. Getting a sensor
just said
of this
Mavic 3
size
Cine.
to work on a drone of this size was probably the hardest part, but also the most rewarding. Imagine aerial photography with 12-bit RAW and 20 megapixels.
12-bit
or
RAW.
imagine capturing images with a higher dynamic range of 12.8 stops. Or don't just imagine. Plus, all the light reaching the sensor comes through a lightweight Hassleblad lens, offering you stunning image quality with an equivalent focal length of 24 millimeters. an aperture of f2.8 to 11, and an 84-degree FOV. Ready to create your new masterpiece for magazines, billboards, galleries, clients, or just for the
So
fun
crisp.
of it. Photo or video. With Mavic 3, you can instantly switch from creating aerial photos like a pro to creating aerial videos like a pro.
Okay.
Videos with up to 5.1K at 50 frames per second. Yes! Giving you 5.1 thousand opportunities for resizing and reframing in post-production, without even having mentioned the 10-bit D-Log color profile. That's amazing. And that here is amazing too. Slow motion shooting with 4K at 120 frames per second.
That's
and
what I
even
wanted to
full
hear.
HD
Okay,
video
good.
at 200 frames per second.
But
still,
there
there are even
That's what I
more
wanted to hear.
possibilities
5.1K
with Mavic
is
3, because
cool,
Mavic
but-
3 comes with a second integrated camera.
Yeah, so there's two
Telescopic lens
cameras.
for long focus with up to 28 times hybrid zoom. Use it to explore your surroundings for the next shots and create unseen perspectives. With an extra half-inch sensor for this camera and an aperture of f4.4 and an equivalent focal length of 162 millimeters, we definitely reduced limits.
So it's
Then
cool.
There's even a third focal
But now people
length
can really
with the
spy on
new
other people.
attachable wide-angle converter that allows you to shoot super
Yo.
wide at an impressive 15.5 millimeters.
Okay, I like
The
that.
variety of photo and video possibilities in a drone that fits in your hand
Drones
is
and wide
simply
angle look
unmatched.
super cool, especially if they're going
For
fast.
those who want to raise the bar of aerial videos higher right away, up to cinematic, we created a second impressive version of Mavic 3, the new Mavic 3 Cine.
This is what I want to
The
see.
name says it all. The Cine
'Cause this
version
is like
comes with two
$5,000.
impressive upgrades. One, Apple ProRes 4:2 HQ video codec, the current industry standard for
ProRes.
professional video productions. This will not only help you to
I wish it was
express
RAW,
your view
but
on the world, it will
422 is
also
pretty
impress
good.
every
422
single
HQ.
viewer. And two, an integrated, gigantic 1 terabyte SSD drive to handle large amounts of the data from the ProRes codec and high frame rates.
An integrated
A lot
1
of great
terabyte
news
drive.
to digest, right? I feel you.
Curious
Both
if I
versions
even
of
care
Mavic
about
3
that.
enable incredible opportunities while shooting and create astonishing
I've never really had an
image
issue with
quality
like
for
storage
post-production.
space, so we'll see.
Mavic 3 also gives you new dynamic options with master shots. It's a new programmable mode that lets you create preset maneuvers for fully edited, dubbed and captivating films with just a touch of a button. This, as well as many other intelligent features like hyperlapse, time
Okay.
shots, or HNCS share one goal: to enable you to create professional, ready-to-share footage on the fly. What's HNCS, you're asking? Well, that's short for Hassleblad Natural Color Solution. It empowers Mavic 3's imaging with incredibly rich, pure and accurate colors for a professional touch right off the bat. No need to select from multiple presets. So yes, we
So I
did
don't
it
get to
again.
control my colors?
To get the best image quality on board, we worked with the best. Hassleblad. The exclusive camera brand from Sweden that so many image creators dream of.
I mean,
And
they
I
own
really do
Hassleblad.
think DJI and Hassleblad are a dream team.
Yeah, I mean, the Mavic 2 Pro is so good that like this,
The path to the perfect image. Forever a journey.
I do
A
kind of
journey
trust their
that
color
used to
science,
travelers
but it
started
doesn't.
Far off, far
It really
away.
doesn't blend well with like other
One
cameras.
sets
Like
out
you can
with the
really
belief
tell when
that
somebody's
everyone
using
sees
like
the world in a
a
unique
Mavic.
way, inspiring all to express their own artistic vision with sublime imaging technology. The other
Hasselblad.
sets out
Good one.
believing everyone
Enigma,
should
that's funny.
experience the future of possible, empowering all to envision it in the smoothest way imaginable from every angle. Year after year, both follow their own footsteps.
Okay, they're just saying some
paving
crap.
their
I'm going to
own
lower it
paths.
and talk. So, a 1 terabyte SSD.
Traveling to your perfect image. See what's possible.
Okay.
Redefining fine imaging, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm super glad to have a true Hassleblad insider here to talk about fine imaging.
Okay, here
My
we go.
colleague and friend from Gothenburg, Sweden, welcome Brunius.
Hey Ferdi. Hello everyone.
Thanks for joining me today.
He looks
you know,
incredibly
we're super proud
depressed.
of Mavic 3, also because of the fact that it carries the name Hassleblad. Would you please remind us what the
Yeah,
name
sorry about the
stands
audio
for in a
glitches.
few
That's
words,
just this
maybe?
microphone is
Of course.
glitching out.
So Hassleblad has a profound tradition in excellent photography. Founded 8 years ago by Victor Hassleblad, we soon became one of the most trusted global companies for professional imaging solutions and still are. Our cameras, I can proudly say, have been used by some of the most outstanding photographers ever since.
Definitely. Your deep understanding of the photographer's eyes is one of the reasons for that. And another for sure is Hassleblad's renowned, superb feeling for colors. So what can our creators out there expect from the Hassleblad Natural Color Solution, the HNCS in the Mavic 3?
A lot of experience and a little bit of magic. See, with our traditional camera systems on ground, we aim to let image creators express their artistic vision exactly how they imagine it. Therefore, we defined a unique color space and developed a profile solution that renders colors naturally without any compromises.
Oh my
For
God.
better handling of shades, skin tones, contrast, and
I do trust
illumination.
them. Like, they have incredibly
And
good color
that's what creators can
science.
expect from Mavic 3 as well.
I just hope they have an incredibly flat profile so that you can
natural colors
play with it
and
later.
apply excellently balanced grading right away.
Yeah, you can certainly feel a unique purity in every
Or if they just
image.
had their own
Brunius,
LUT that
you
they,
said
like, apply,
Hasslebllad's a brand of
and you don't need
profound
to
tradition.
just
Then
have
comes
it baked
DJI,
in.
very techy, non-traditional, if you will so. Where do you see the common denominators between these fairly different brands?
Well, first, sky is not our limit as well. I mean, you know that the first photo on the moon was taken with a Hassleblad camera, right? But seriously,
This dude's
on a
just reading
second
a
glance,
script.
the two brands have
Like,
more
you
in
can see him
common
looking at the
than one might
teleprompter,
think.
basically.
Like?
Like the enabling factor, both allow and inspire creators to truly realize what they imagine, to fulfill themselves creatively. With that comes the honor DJI and Hassleblad share, working with the world's most skilled artists, image creators, and engineers. And of course, the high-end products with
This is all
focus
just
on
corporate speak.
functional and original design, making both brands the premium choice in their field.
Okay, that's quite on point, I would say. Maybe one last favor?
Sure.
Tell me one reason that I didn't come up with why the Mavic 3 is the premium choice, a must-have for true image creators.
Well, I'm convinced the Hassleblad L2D20C with a 4/3 CMOS sensor and its processing speed is actually strong enough to even compete with the smaller pro cameras on ground. But as soon as it's in the air, it's something else. But hey,
Sure.
why not ask a true image creator, like an official Hassleblad master photographer? Benjamin, what do you think?
Hello, my name is Benjamin Everett. I'm an artist, a photographer, and a former Hassleblad master. I always like to start with story. Asking what we're trying to say with our work can be the most essential thing a photographer can do. The beauty of drones and the Mavic 3 show us completely new things once we're up and flying. They help us tell our story in entirely new ways. Because the drone will show you so many new things, I've really been enjoying the extended battery life of the Mavic 3. It allows me to feel a lot more relaxed and patient in the air when I'm flying, and this always leads to better compositions.
Did I just
An
tune into
additional feature that I
the
really
B&H
like
review?
is
Like,
the
what is
7x
happening?
optical zoom. I've been making some highly detailed panoramic images that just haven't been possible until now.
Wow, thanks,
Show me the
Benjamin,
images.
for
What are
your
you talking about?
perspective, First impressions and these
Those all were
impressive
with the
images.
sensor. It wasn't with the zoom.
Masterpieces from the master shot on our masterpiece. Love it. And thank you a lot, Bronius.
My pleasure.
I think that underlined the cutting-edge potential and new possibilities you can expect from Mavic 3. Let's take a
Okay,
sharp
here we
look
go.
at the highlights of today. The new Mavic 3 comes with a Hassleblad camera, 4/3 CMOS sensor, 20 megapixels, a telescopic camera with a 1/2-inch sensor, 5.1K, 4K at 120 frames per second, 46 minutes flight time, APAS
that flight
5.0
time.
for obstacle sensing in
Jeez,
all
man.
directions, Active Track 5.0, enhanced tracking for more focus on the action, advanced return to home for an even safer and smarter return with the touch of a button. The new DJI RC Pro Smart Controller with a 1000 nit screen and transmission
pretty good.
deluxe. And
The return
a new
home
DJI
seems dangerous.
Cellular transmission dongle bringing you 4G connectivity.
That is
Good
insane.
things come to those who wait, they say. And I say, you've been waiting long enough. So Mavic 3 will be available from this moment. This means both Mavic 3 versions and accessories are ready when you are. So the last question left.
Okay.
What's the price for these invaluable imaging tools? I'll show
Here we
you.
go.
The Mavic 3 starts at $2,199 in the US.
That is more
Flying
expensive
more
than the
means
2
shooting
Pro
more.
when it
So Mavic
launched.
3 is also available in a Fly More combo, including more
3,000 for the Fly
convenient
More is not
accessories
awful.
for
I mean, I'd probably pay for it.
$2,999.
Oh, and it comes with
The
ND
new
filters.
DJI RC Pro Smart Controller comes
These controllers are so
for
dang expensive.
$1,199.
Like, these ones are ridiculous.
And all creators who want the
$1,200. I mean, like, it's good. Like, it's great to go out and not have to bring your phone.
It comes with the Mavic 3 Cine version, with the RC Pro Smart
$5,000.
Controller, a wide range of ND filters, and much more for $4,999. Please go check
I don't think I could
store.dji.com
justify
for
that.
all products and prices in your currency.
It's literally $2,000 more than the Fly More package.
What a flight. I have to thank you for coming along with me on this beautiful journey to your perfect image. That's it from me. Love to all you image creators out there. As a DJI colleague once said, the beaten paths are not for the ones who are meant to fly. So have a blast with our new aerial masterpiece. I will for sure. Good flight, goodbye.
Okay. Hopefully they end it with like a nice images of it. Oh, by the way, this place looks like a Bond like villain's lair. This is ridiculous. Come on. Show me some footage. Come on. I want to see it. Oh my god, are these credits? They put credits in their live stream? Okay, I guess. Let me move myself so we can read the credits. So this is weird because it's astronomically expensive. Like $5,000 for that is frankly insane. An extra $2,000 for what? Okay. So did the Cine version, is that the one that is that the only one that comes with Apple ProRes? Because I'm pretty sure it's the only one that it was Apple ProRes 422 HQ. That's great. That gives you a lot more like just information in your footage, which is incredible. I don't know if that would justify to me an extra $2,000 because it also has the 1 terabyte internal SSD. That's great, but I frankly really don't myself don't mind using high transfer rate micro SDs, unless that's going to not really work for the new codec, for that incredibly fast codec. So I oh my god, like I really don't know if that was remotely like that $5,000 price tag is remotely going to be worth it. Man, what the chat for that? Oh my god, the chat for this video is hilarious. Hose mad. I need to sell my kidney to afford a $5,000 drone. Chill. Let me read some of these. So I'm going to read some of these off. Fly regulations are a big no-no. Oh yeah, that's fair. This actually might not be FAA appropriate because you need like a digital signal. Like you need to register that like a digital kind of footprint with the FAA. Let's see here. Just F's in chat. So many F's in chat. DJI proud. So many F's. Lame by. Oof, man, these are mean. Live traffic visualization. So the Skydio, I'm going to bring that up while I'm reading this chat. Goodbye, everybody. Okay, cool. So Skydio 2. So let me show you the drone that they're basically replacing. Where's a good video that demonstrates like they have like this cool visualization of the Okay. I'll see you, Trapmaster Enigma, if you're leaving, or Elements of Enigma. I know you've changed your name a couple times, and I really do like all of your name variations. Okay, here we go. So this is primarily the big big exciting thing for the Skydio. And I'll show you guys after this ad plays because I don't want you to have to suffer through it. So this launched about, it says 3 years ago. So it's primarily their engine internally. And what it shows is their kind of 3D look around. They have a 360-degree like coverage of the drone, so it can detect all of the like obstacles around, but sometimes it does get stuck. Like there are a bunch of reviews of it getting stuck and not being able to fly. So primarily, the thing that I'm afraid of with the Mavic 3 Pro or the Mavic 3 Cine is the fact that you might run into these same situations where your drone just gets stuck and like, what are you going to do? You're going to have to like go back and grab it. So I don't know if I trust that 360-degree coverage, but at the same time, it's pretty cool. Like, I mean, like, it would be great to not have to worry about the obstacle avoidance because everybody's crashed their drone at least once if you've been flying like long enough. It just happens eventually. So having that not be an issue is pretty good, but I still don't trust that, especially that they're saying that the new return to home function is just going to like navigate to you. And they said at the last possible moment. I've been in so many situations where I've seen I never do return to home because I really don't trust it. But I've seen people that are like returning their drone and then all of a sudden it starts going down. It does a bunch of glitchy stuff. So that's just a product of like trusting software above actually like controlling it yourself, which is no big deal. I mean, like a lot of the times the return to home works fine, but I don't love the idea that it's just like, oh, well, it's going to wait to the last second so that you can get your cool shot. I'm like, well, I already don't trust return to home, so I might not trust this even more. But I do like the ability for it to have a similar feature to the Skydio because a lot of people do really like it. Or Skydio, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, let me unmute it first.
Really captured people's imagination with all the incredible concepts that are out there. There's this general notion of an autonomous flying camera that can follow you around and capture amazing video. But the paradigm with existing products is you essentially need an expert pilot there flying it. And if you have that, you can do incredible things. But for most people and for most applications, the potential is still a little bit out of reach. In a lot of ways, this feels like a product that we've been working on for most of our lives. I met my co-founders, Abe and Matt, when we were grad students at MIT, where our lab was one of the first in the world to develop autonomous flying systems. We worked on a fixed-wing vehicle that could use lasers and cameras to fly itself around a parking garage at high speed.
So that kind of visualization,
really the goal of that project
right
was to do something that would go beyond the capabilities of even what the best pilots in the world were capable of. And at the time, it was just sort of a fun, interesting challenge to be working on. But a lot of what we learned there forms the foundation for what we've built now at Skydio. Our initial focus has been to deliver on that promise of the autonomous flying camera and to make it real. Basically to create a film crew that fits in your backpack. It's a camera that understands the scene it's looking at and has the ability to move itself. Those two things together are just enormously powerful.
And I think
that's a very ambitious
the Mavic 3 Pro is trying to mimic.
We had to develop custom hardware. We built a device with 13 cameras that see in every direction. And at its core, it uses an NVIDIA TX1. It's the same thing that's found in self-driving cars. And that's what runs the Skydio autonomy engine.
Okay.
The first step in the vision processing pipeline is understanding where the vehicle is and how it's moving. To do this, we look for regions of high texture in the environment, and we track those as landmarks in the real world that we can triangulate and track our motion. That motion estimate is the foundation for everything else we do.
But you can see it's kind of shaky, like it's really trying.
Is building up a 3D understanding of the world.
So cool.
To do that, we compute stereo depth maps from each pair of cameras, and these get fused over time into a dense 3D understanding of the environment. It's working to get to her instead of being like a cinematic movement. From there, the R1 uses a combination of deep neural networks to understand the people around it.
Like, honestly, it's more interesting that it's following her than the actual footage. Like, this isn't like a cinematic follow.
So that it can
like,
stay
this
locked
is
onto the right subject.
Like a snake trying to like stalk its
motion
prey.
Planning system turns all the information about the environment into useful action. So
now
it balances avoiding obstacles, keeping the subject in view, and capturing amazing video to figure out how the vehicle should behave by predicting 4 seconds into the future.
Oh, it predicts. Okay. I don't know if the Mavic Pro 3 is going to do that. Or 3
These planning
Pro.
commands get turned into action in the physical world in rotor speeds and gimbal angles. This is an incredibly complex system, but the end result is simple. The vehicle moves itself in a beautiful,
that camera
smooth,
doesn't really
cinematic
look that
way
good.
to
But this
capture
was 3
amazing
years
video.
ago. This was like right around the launch of the Mavic 2 Pro. So it basically looks like an older GoPro. So that's what I primarily think that they're trying to crib from. They're cribbing from the Skydio like formula to have all of those different cameras, but they still wanted it to be foldable and small enough that it usually is. The problem that I see, and that people have pointed out, because this leaked like several days ago, as well as the prices, and everybody was like $5,000 for a like Mavic. Are you insane? Which I still think, and I mean, I might reconsider. Apple ProRes 422 HQ is pretty good. Like, honestly, it's not bad, and I would love to see it in a really flat picture profile that you can grade yourself. They really were relying on the Hassleblad Colors, which is good. Hassleblad looks great, but if I'm filming something, primarily you want your footage to be incorporated, like from the drone, to be incorporated into the rest of your film. So if you're filming something and like, there's so many times I've seen short films where you're like, oh, this is a Mavic. I can immediately tell, because you've seen that color science so much, and they're not going to risk it, like trying to conform the color grade, like in a lot of productions, as well as some of the frame rates are really weird on the Mavic. Like, it'll have this weird jumpiness that you need to use like optical flow to fix. So I feel like that's not going to be a problem with this one, especially if it can do 4K at 120 FPS, which is great. And that makes sense for you to have the 1 terabyte SSD internally. And I feel like that was actually a product of them being like, it's just not working. We can't get this to work with just an SD card. So here's an internal SSD that'll kind of fix that for us. So I feel like that was just kind of a product of necessity. So I feel like those two elements go hand in hand, like the Apple ProRes and the SSD, because you kind of need it. It's probably going to be producing ridiculously huge video files. But my bigger problem is the fact that I would much rather have replaceable SSDs or replaceable SD card something, because I hate having to offload something from an internal memory card and then have to wait for it to offload and then delete it internally or format the internal memory, and maybe it corrupted something. Like, there's just, when you're dealing internally, I don't love that. So the Cine package doesn't seem worth it, frankly, in my opinion. It might be really cool. I mean, like, that actually might be the way to go and get those amazing images. But the Mavic 2 Pro already looks so good that for them to just have this new sensor and have this optical zoom that can get you really cool parallax effects, I don't know if it's really that worth it to upgrade past that for a lot of people. The Fly More package for $3,000, still a lot of money. $3,000 is a lot of money, but it is comparable to a Mavic 2 Pro Fly More package. So that one's definitely more palatable. And I feel like that's what they're doing. It's the idea of like, well, I'll offer you, these two ranges, and then you usually settle in the middle. I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing. Is they're like, well, at least it's not $5,000. So maybe you'll get the Fly More, which is probably what's going to happen for me. And like, honestly, the final thing that I want to mention is just how well that'll work. Like, the difference, and see if there is primarily like a huge difference between, like, the bigger sensor size is amazing. The fact that it comes with ND filters is really nice, and they're proprietary. Like, they'll give you the ND filters that work with this drone, so you're not worrying about if it's compatible. As well as they have that wide angle edition, which could be really useful, because then you have a wide angle converter that comes from DJI. You're not relying on somebody else's wide angle converter. And bottom line, when it comes to this whole package, is that it's a really cool addition. And I'm curious how good that footage of that like parallax zoom in is going to be, the like 26 times zoom, which is frankly kind of startling, because now there's actually, I've been able to reassure a lot of people when I'm flying. If someone approaches and says, "Are you spying on me?" I can literally show them, like, from the view, no, I'm not. I can't. I'm too far away. And that's not the point of my drone flying anyway. I don't want to see what you're doing. So now I can still show them, hey, I'm not doing that. But I mean, we do have the capability, and a lot of weird people will now have the capability of doing that. So I'm curious how this is going to work out with the current FAA standard that you need to incorporate your kind of digital card to communicate with your drone virtually. So we'll see how that works out. The cellular thing, that you can plug in a little cellular backpack and it'll be able to transmit where you're you'll be able to transmit from anywhere, is like, it's crazy. Not only, well, first of all, it's not FAA guideline. You shouldn't do that. You need to have visual line of sight to your drone. But like, what the hell? Like, that seems more like something that would be useful for somebody that if they're, I don't know who that would even be useful for. You should probably be around your drone while it's flying, unless for whatever reason you have two controllers and you have me who's sitting right here with my controller and it's sending a cellular data all the way to somebody that's in the field, and the person in the field has a slave controller, as I bump my mic, has a master controller that they're holding, and so if something happens they can take control, but the person sitting at home can control it to get a specific shot. Like maybe they can get a shot better than the other person. That's like the only thing I could think of is like if the DP's sitting at home. That's about it. Besides the fact that, I mean, like, it'll be great if the drone is too far away that it runs out of signal. But I mean, like, that's been something that DJI has been really good with. The one thing that I do see happen, and I hope that that's a remedy for, is that it can lose signal and then, or have an issue with like magnetic interference, and because of that have an issue with the drone flying. So maybe it's similar to an RTK where it'll actually make the drone more stable in the air. Maybe. So yeah, I mean, that's probably all of my thoughts on the Mavic 3 Pro and the Mavic 3 Cine. Is that the Cine's probably not worth it. The Mavic 3 Pro is going to be a good middle ground for like that, especially that price point. And the one thing that I am wary of is that it does have the Skydio style, like correcting for itself and knowing its surroundings better and building like this digital model of its surroundings. But be aware, now that these little camera lenses are now kind of like, they're now wide angle so that they can gather everything around them in a 360-degree view. The problem is that they're probably easier to scratch now. Like, you can cover them with your fingers easier and stuff like that. So that's something to think about. They might be more scratchable. I think that the legs on the bottom of the drone are going to stick out maybe a little more to allow for more distance, so that if you put it on like a rocky surface, there won't be any ability for the little bottom sensors to be scratched. That's something to take into account. But besides all that, I mean, like, it's DJI. Like, literally, I was almost going to release a video for the DJI Action 2. Like, I had recorded the whole thing and then just decided not to release it because I'm like, we already talked about the Ronin 4D. And here we are with another DJI video. So I swear this isn't going to be the DJI channel. We're just releasing videos when something cool happens. And a Hassleblad sensor that's 4/3, like that with like a 26 times zoom is ridiculous. Like, who would even think to do that? Who would think to take the Mavic 2 Pro and the Mavic 2 zoom and put them into one camera in one drone? Like, that's just insane. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. I'm sorry for the audio glitches, but I wanted to make sure that we covered this, and I wasn't going to be able to edit a video this quickly. It's actually really late, and I got work to do tomorrow. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you had a good time, and I will see you in the next video when the next camera drops or whatever happens. Who knows? Have a good time. Have a good holidays if I don't see you. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and have a good night.